Welcome to Quebic. Today I am going to describe how to set up Quebic into your environment and core functionalities of the Quebic. This demo mainly based on this example project. You can find all the related source codes in this example project. Okay. First you have to download latest release of Quebic. Just go to the release tab and download latest release. Okay, I already downloaded the latest version of the Quebic. Here I am going to use it. Okay, you can see here there are two files. One is Quebic and other one is Quebic Manager. Quebic is the CLI. Actually this demo is mainly going with Quebic dashboard UI. The documentation is the Quebic documentation is mainly going with Quebic CLI. So you can find the sample codes and sample commands, all these stuffs in Quebic GitHub wiki page. Okay, now I'm going to run Quebic Manager. It will take few seconds. Okay, the log says Quebic dashboard is running on 80,000 and Quebic Manager is running on 10 and 28 port. Okay, here I already open the Quebic dashboard in this tab. Here you can see there are no any functions created yet. I'm going to API Gateway tab. Here this is the Kubernetes service name of the API Gateway, and this is the cluster IP of the API Gateway, and it's running on port 3000. Okay, I am going to test API Gateway health endpoint. For that I am going to curl to the health endpoint. Here this is the cluster IP of the API Gateway and the port. This is the endpoint for the health check. Okay, it's running into functions. Here our demo, this is what actually we are planning to do. We are going to create two functions. One is user create function that will be implemented in Java, and other one is user validation function that will be implemented in Node.js. User create function is listening for user create event, and user validation function, that Node.js function, listening for user validation event. Then we are going to create routing rules for the API Gateway. That routing that endpoint actually fire user create event when Java function, this user create function, receive that user create event, then it fire user validation event. Okay, first I am going to create Node.js function. Before that I am going to the implementation details. Here this is the our Node.js function. You can see here this is the request handler, this is the exported request handler module, and here inside request handler I am calling to validate user method. Inside this validate user method, it get the email attribute from the payload, and then it just just check this email is a valid one or invalid one. If email is valid one, it's set success response to the callback. Otherwise it set error response to the callback. And again you can see here I am using loggers. I will explain the loggers later. If you want more details about this programming model, you can find all the details in the Quebic GitHub wiki. Okay, let's create this function. Okay, let's go into function create page. Just put some unique name for the function. Okay, the version here version is optional. By default Quebic manager set this version as 0.1.0, but you can put your own version in here. Then set runtime and set replicas, and handler will be here. Handler is important. User validate is request handler file name, and validation handler is exported request handler module. This. Okay, then I upload the source file. Then here I set event. This is the event this function going to listen. Here you can set multiple events for listening. Then I can set environment variable for the function, but for this scenario I am not going to set any environment variables. Okay, then I am going into routing rules. I think you can remember for this scenario, for our example, we don't need any routing rules for this function, but I just want to explain this functionality. So users date, and then set request method, and this is the event. Actually here the event ID is functions event. That means every functions are listening into their own event other than user defined events. That event is created internally. Actually this routing rule is fire that event, internal event. Then only this function is going to invoke with this endpoint. Okay, this is the response status, default response status for the this endpoint, and this is the async enabling feature. I will explain this async feature later. This is the request timeout for the synchronous calls, and here headers to pass. That means actually API gateway is not going to pass all the HTTP request headers into the event payload. Then you can decide what are the required HTTP headers needed to pass to event payload. Then you can set the headers. Here you can set request mapping. Here you can set HTTP request attribute into event payload attribute. Here I set request attribute as queue and the event attribute as email. According to this routing rules, this is a get request, and routing attribute request attributes will be query parameters. then q is a query parameter. That query parameter value is going to set into event payload. Okay, then save it. It will take few seconds. Okay, it created. Let's test this function. Jump into testing tab and then select the function and just send some empty request. Okay, you got a error message. Then I am going to test some positive scenario. Okay, I got success response and I got error response. Okay, then I am going to test this routing rule endpoint. For that I am going to curl to that endpoint. This is the users validate and this is the get request. Okay, here you can see here this is the endpoint and I am going to set query parameter. I think you can remember, and okay, there, just hit it. Okay, you got success response, and again I will try with some negative scenario. Okay, you got error response. Fine. I think you can remember in our function, Node.js function, I used some loggers inside the request handler. How we can access those loggers? Actually, Quebic provides way to access the logs which related to each request. Let's try it. I hit this endpoint again with some more details. Okay, here you got success response, and look at into this response header section. You can identify this request ID header in response header response. Just copy that request ID and go into request tracker and just paste it. Okay, you can see here these are the details for the request, and this is the created date, and this is the request completed date time, and this is the result for the request, and finally you can get the logs related to the request. Again I will try with some negative scenario. Okay, get this request ID. Okay, again you can get the result, and in the logs you can see here this is the error log. Let's create a user create Java function. Before that I am going into the implementation details of that. Here this is the request handler. You can see here we can set request data type and the response data type. For this example I am using user pojo for both request and the response. If you want, you can use any primitive data type or object type for the request and response. Here you have to implement handle method, and inside handle method I am using a messenger for fire user validate event. Inside the and I am waiting for the response, and inside the success handler, after I got the success response, I am set UUID for the user payload, and this is just to illustrate some time consuming operation. This is just wait for 8 seconds, and then I set success message for the callback. Otherwise, if I am got some error response from the user validation event invoking firing, I just set error message for the callback. Okay, let's create this function. Just put name for this function. Set runtime as Java. Yes, handler will be request handler class path. Okay, for that this is the package and the request handler class name. Okay, then upload the jar file. Okay, then set event user create. Okay, then I am not going to set any routing rules for this function, so save it. Okay, now it's up and running. Okay, now I'm going to create new routing rules. For that, let's go to create page and users, and then method is post, and then set the event. This will be user create. Then this routing endpoint is async one. Then set it. Okay, now we can save it. Okay, now I am going to test this endpoint. For that, I am going to run this curl command. This is the FaaS request, and this is the content type, and this is the data payload, and this is the endpoint path. Now I'm going to hit it. Okay, you can see here I immediately got the request ID. Since this is async endpoint, I am not going to wait and to get the response. Instead of that, I just got the request ID. Later, using this request ID, you can eventually get the result for this request. Actually, how we can do that? The Quebic API gateway provides a request tracker endpoint for this. This is the request tracker endpoint. You can set the request ID into this, and you can get the result. Let's try it again. I'll hit it and copy the request ID and set it into request tracker endpoint. Okay, here you got the success response. You can see here this is the email, then this is the UUID, and this is the name. Now I'm going to test with some negative scenario. I just set some fake email, then again I set this request ID, then I got the error response as I expected. Okay, I hope you got good idea about the Quebic and its functionality. I really expecting your valuable feedbacks. Then thanks for watching.